Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 194. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding show in store for you. Today we're getting a little deep, guys. Today's show topic is 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. Now, before we get into today's show, I just want to give you a few updates. Update number 1, my new book, A New Black Wall Street, How to Build a Successful E-Commerce Business, 12 Steps to 6 Figures in 12 Months, part-time. That's coming out in about 7 to 8 days. I'm just having the last edits and a few revisions done. Update number 2, my new online course, Educated E-Commerce, the VIP pre-launch membership sold out in like a day and a half. So I actually have a regular pre-launch discount that'll save you $100 off of the $497 price of the course when it drops on May 1st. So if you want to take advantage of the regular pre-launch, it'll be $397, and that's good until midnight on April 4th. On midnight on April 4th, I'm going to shut it down, and the course isn't going to actually open, or you can't register for the course until it actually drops on May 1st. So if you missed the VIP pre-launch, definitely jump in, go to educatedecommerce.com, and sign up before midnight on April 4th. That'll save you $100 off the regular price of $497. Also, I decided to continue to do the 30% affiliate commission. So if you refer somebody that buys the course after it drops on May 1st, then you'll earn 30% of the $497, which is $149.10. So if you refer 2.5, 3 people, that'll take care of your investment of $397. So once again, if you're interested, that regular promo is going on until April 4th. And then at midnight, April 4th, the cart shuts down and you won't be able to buy the course again until May 1st when it drops for everybody. So those are the 2 updates. Now, I want to get to today's show, and I just want to preface this show a little bit. As I'm doing research and writing my new book, I've obviously been studying a lot on Black Wall Street. And it's funny because the more things change, the more things stay the same. It's almost like we've regressed since that point in time. Now, remember that today's show topic is 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. Black Wall Street was doing for self, in a major way. We were self-sufficient. We had built businesses. We've had schools, hospitals, and we had millionaires. We created millionaires circulating our own dollars amongst ourselves. Now, the powers that be that are still in power today decided that, you know what, we can't have this. So we're going to use any excuse we can find to destroy Black Wall Street and the people that live there. Now, this is one of the largest atrocities in United States history. 200 to 300 people were murdered. Houses were burned down. Businesses were destroyed. And I'm telling you, they're talking about terrorism. That's homegrown terrorism right there. But we really haven't progressed. And Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this all the time. It may look like we progress. We may have the perception of progression, but Black Wall Street was way ahead of its time. Now, what we need to do today, I'm going to give you 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. But I want to start off with a quote from Marcus Garvey. He said, "Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you." Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. And pretty much, guys, that's where we are. That's where we were. And that's where we are today. So we need to do certain things to do for self and unlearn this systematic social engineering. Before I get into those 4 steps, we have to stop begging for jobs. And I'm real big on this. Now, I've worked in corporate America. I've had to do it. I started a business. That didn't work. Went back to corporate. Started another. That didn't work. Went back to corporate. Been there, done that. Went to corporate straight out of college. So I understand that. But we have to stop begging for jobs, and we have to start creating our own businesses. And the reason being is once we control and own those businesses, we can hire whoever the heck we want to hire. Now, I talk about this a lot on the show. When you sit down for an interview, it's almost like you're letting someone validate or invalidate your worth. And I understand that's how the system works. But I've sat across the desk many times being interviewed, and I knew that I was head and shoulders above this person. But because of the system, nepotism, the old boy network, whatever you want to call it, I was the subservient one. I'm begging this person to validate or invalidate me to prove that, okay, you're good enough to earn a living to take care of your family. And when you start thinking about it like that, that's crazy. So stop letting people validate or invalidate your worth. All right. You have to start controlling things too. I talk about a 3-pronged attack. Number 1, we have to control our economic prosperity. And that comes by building businesses, building infrastructure, and building a new Black Wall Street, circulating the dollars in our own community, enriching not others, but enriching ourselves. Because when we enrich ourselves, now we're able to do positive things for our families, in our communities, and Black folk worldwide. This isn't just the U.S. This is worldwide I'm talking about. All right. We also have to control politics and government by voting. All right. And I'm not just talking about, the national elections. I'm talking about local. I'm talking school board, because they create the policy. You see, actually in Pennsylvania, the Republicans were pissed off because they tried. We redistricted an area, and now it's more Democrat than Republican. And they tried to take it to, the highest court in the land, and it got shot down. So we need to make sure that we're controlling, politics and government by voting and having our voices heard. And also we have to control the media, and we need to control and balance the propaganda machines out there like Fox News. All right. And we have the capability with today's technology. And we got to stop begging for equality from, a system that's economically and socially invested in Black powerlessness. We have to stop begging for equality from a system that is economically and socially invested in Black powerlessness. The system is set up against us. So what I'm talking about is creating our own ecosystem. Everybody, we can do it collectively, and you can do it individually. That's why being your own business owner is paramount to that, because we control that. When somebody controls your purse strings, they control you. That's why I don't have damn advertiser near one on this podcast. And when I do decide to advertise on the podcast, it's probably going to be something from me or one of the BEB family members, because I'm not going to be beholden to anybody. I want to say what I want to say. I want to do what I want to do. This is my platform. And that's what I'm talking about in taking control and doing what we're supposed to be doing. So today's show is 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. Step number 1, you got to design your life. Design your life. What's your ideal life? What does it look like? And how do you do it? So as an entrepreneur, I do 3 things. And the only 3 things that I really do are think, create, and execute. That's what I do. I think, I create, and I execute. I think about what I want. I take those thoughts and then I try to create that, make it come into existence. And I do that by executing the plan that I've devised to make it all come into fruition. So step number 1, design your life. Now, I told you guys with me, I had to reinvent myself after my business collapsed during the financial crisis with my mortgage business. And I had to I was designing my life over, didn't really pay attention to it, but I knew what I wanted and I knew what I didn't want. I wanted to have more time with my family. I didn't want to have a lot of employees that I had to deal with. I was focusing on making myself better all around. And I wanted to focus on the things that I enjoy doing. And so you have to design your life. And I'm not saying sit down and write a 20-page, thesis or anything like that. I'm just saying, think about where you want to be. What's your ideal life look like? And then work backwards. So think, create, and the biggest part of that is execution. Because we all think about things and some of us move to the creation stage and try to create that. But the problem is a lot of times we can't execute. Think, create, and execute. That's step number 1. And today's show topic is 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. Step number 2, become financially independent. And that's paramount to living your life. When you're not, dependent on somebody else to pay you, you can do what the hell you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want. All right. So become financially independent. And whatever that means to you or whatever, or however you need to get there, it could be e-commerce. It could be real estate. It could be starting a card shop, whatever. Become financially independent. Now, here's a perfect example. My first cousin is getting married in Myrtle Beach in 2 weeks. So I'm all raring to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, my wife, who's an assistant principal in the middle school, now she's hemming and hawing because, I don't know if I want to take off a day or two because I'm taking off more time later in the year. I don't have that issue. I can rock and roll and do what I want when I want. And she loves her job. So I'm not knocking people that love their job. But you need to become financially independent. Once you become financially independent, I'm not talking about being rich or wealthy. I'm just talking about that your income is not dependent on somebody else or a company. You're creating your own income. So you have flexibility. You have the ability to do the things that you want to do. When I recreated myself and designed my life or redesigned my life, I wanted to be able to do things that were pleasurable for me. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. This is episode 194, over 3.5 years going. Every Monday, a new episode drops. I enjoy it. I can't wait to get on the mic and share my experiences and the experiences of my guests. I like creating things. I'm a creative also. So creating these courses, creating different things, writing. I enjoy that. I enjoy speaking. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy helping people. So that's how I wanted to design my life, where I could do the things that I wanted to do, that I enjoy doing. And it's common sense. If you do the things that you enjoy doing all the time, your life is probably going to be a little better. I've gone to jobs where I couldn't stand it. The tension, the stress, you're sitting there and you realize, like, why am I here? I'm bigger than this. And that I'm not using that as a negative, but if you know that your future is brighter and you're sitting there laboring at some job that you really weren't put here to do, that's hard, man. It's stressful. You hate getting up in the morning. So you need to become financially independent. All right. Step number 3, you got to make sure that you're healthy. In order to design your life and become financially independent, you need to make sure that you're healthy mentally, mind, body, and soul. All right. Your mind. Just had a conversation with Mike Dorsey that was on the show a couple of weeks ago. And we were talking about watch what you consume. So for a healthy mind, you need to consume positive things. All right. Now, I know we all have, are shows we probably watch that have no redeeming value whatsoever. But watch what you consume, because garbage in means garbage out. It's a pretty simple equation. Watch what you consume. What are you reading? Are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? So you need to take care of your mind, because without that, it's a wrap. Ain't nothing going to happen if your mind isn't right. All right. Make sure that your body's in order. Right now, I picked up that what I call winter weight, because it's cold out here. So a lot of times I'm not going to the track in the wintertime. I'll hit the Y, but I'm not getting that workout that I do when I hit the track. So take care of your body. Without your body being in physical health, you can't do anything. And also your soul. So connect with whatever higher power. If you believe in a higher power, connect with whatever higher power you believe in, be it God, Allah, Buddha, whoever, or whatever. My personal feeling is that there is a higher power out there. So you got to make sure that you're healthy, mind, body, and soul. And step number 4, which is the last step, be unapologetically you. Be unapologetically you. I'm on this podcast, and some of the things that I may say some people may not like. And I don't do anything to try to intentionally hurt anybody, but I'm going to be me. That's what we're meant to do. You're meant to be yourself. And I know when you work in corporate America and in certain situations, you have to play by those rules. I recognize and understand that. But be unapologetically you. I'm unapologetically black. Now, I don't just say it when I'm talking to white folk. Oh, yeah, I'm black. They can see that. They know that. But my feelings, my actions, I'm unapologetically black. I'm not walking in anywhere with my head down or feeling inferior or marginalized. Like they used to say back in the civil rights era, I'm black and I'm proud. And so that's why, once again, I'm not taking dollar number one to sponsor this podcast, because I want to say what I want to say. I want to be totally unencumbered so I can be who I am, so I can be unapologetically Jay Jones. So today's show is going to be a little short, but 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. I want to get into the social engineering. Social engineering is basically we're being engineered by society to act or a certain way or do certain things. So after slavery, obviously, we've been taught to be subservient. We've been taught to be dependent. We've been taught that, quote unquote, now obviously this isn't true, that, oh, you're not as intelligent as white folks, when we know that's some BS. But that's the social type engineering. And it goes even deeper into the media, into politics. The narrative that we see of us. And I know the BEB family knows this. This isn't something that's happenstance. This is a systematic social engineering. So when a kid talks to the guidance counselor and the guidance counselor tells the kid, oh, no, you can't go to college. You need to go work in a factory. That's because it's social engineering. Now, anybody in the position of power does not want that power to change, right? Now, I'm not saying on an individual basis, but as a collective, if you're in power, you don't want to get overthrown, right? And that's what white folks are thinking right now. They're like, oh, man, these black folks are making gains. But you really have to look, are we really making gains? Are we really making gains? I don't think we're going to be making gains until we start doing for self, when we're not beholden to somebody else. And I know here in the U.S., I'm talking worldwide now, and I got to keep remembering that. But I know here in the U.S., we're systematically scrutinized. We're systematically and socially engineered, because that's what this whole system is about. Keeping the top on the top and keeping the bottom on the bottom. But it's funny. I was listening to a radio show the other day, Man, I forgot this guy. He was on Fox News. I was listening. I always listen to the other side, too. I want to hear what these fools are saying. But he was like, oh, yeah, because of women and minorities, white men now are not, they're not getting the jobs that they used to get. It's not a zero-sum game, right? It's about the best getting the best jobs. And that's not even true, because when you have a system as it is, you know, you could be a black guy going up against a white guy, and you have better credentials and experience, and they're going to give the white guy the job. And why can they do that? Because they own the business. And that's why it's so important for us to do for self, so we don't have to be controlled. And I did a show on this before. It's all about control. Now, we're never going to have absolute control of everything. It doesn't work. Not even for white folk. You're not going to have absolute control, but the more you can control, the better off you're going to be. So once again, 4 steps to do for self: unlearn the systematic social engineering. Watch what goes into your head. I'm going to go over to number 4. Number 1, design your life. What you need to do is only 3 things you need to do: think, create, and execute. What's your ideal life? Where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? That's the thinking part. The create, that means you have to create a plan to get there. All right, I'm going to go to college for 4 years, or I'm going to go into service for 8 years, save some money or whatever. Then after the plan is created, then you have to execute. And that's where most of us fail. The thinking part is easy. Oh, yeah. You know, I think about things all the time. Problem is, can I create that? And can I execute? So step number 1, design your life. This is doing for self. All right. Design your life. Design your life. Step number 1, think, create, and execute. Step number 2, become financially independent. And if I said it once, I said it 100 times. When you control your own money, when you can create your own money, can't nobody tell you anything. Oh, you mean I can't go to my cousin's wedding? Oh, yeah? Okay, we'll see. And I mentioned this before. When my son was sick, and before I started my mortgage company, I decided to get some experience. And while I waited for my mortgage license, me and my partner, I actually went and got a job at a small mortgage company. And with my son being sick, you know, financially, it was tight. We were struggling. Obviously, the stress and the pressure of having a sick child in the house. And it was actually around this time, Easter time, I said, you know what? I need to go see my mom. I need to decompress. And my mom had moved to South Carolina, her and my stepdad. And we didn't have a lot of money, and packed the 3 kids up in the van, prayed that the van could get down there. And yeah, I had a minivan, y'all. Yeah, I had one. That's when you know it's all over, fellas. It's a wrap. But I love that van, though, man, with the 3 kids. And so I went over there, went to my mom's and my step pop, and we stayed there for about 5 or 6 days. Got a chance to relax, kick back. And before I left, I told my boss, since I was new, I didn't have any time off. But I said, look, I need to take this mental time. I need to decompress. And she told me, she was like, Jay, she said, I can't promise you that you're going to have your job when you get back. And I said, you know what? I said, I appreciate the honesty. I'll see you when I get back. Now, I take the time off. I didn't give a damn what happened, to be quite honest. That's where I was mentally. So when I got back home, I went through my mail and I found from the state of Pennsylvania our approved mortgage broker license. And what that meant is we can start doing business. We can sign up with the different lenders and start doing business. So I went to work that Monday, and my boss told me, guess what? You know, the general manager wasn't happy, and so we're no longer going to need your services. I'm like, cool. I don't need your services either. So that's what I'm talking about, becoming financially independent. Now, I wasn't at that time, but I wouldn't even have had to go through that nonsense if I was financially independent. So that's step number 2. Step number 1, design your life, think, create, and execute. Step number 2, become financially independent. Step number 3, make sure that you're healthy, because none of this is going to work if you don't have your health. And we're talking about mind, body, and soul. So with your mind, once again, watch what you consume. Garbage in means garbage out. And when you lay down at night, instead of watching whatever, or playing video games or whatever, read a book. Read something that's going to make you grow, make you think. All right. Your body, obviously, if your body breaks down, it's not going to be much you can do physically, obviously. So you want to take care of your body. All right. And your soul, connect with whatever higher power you believe in, if you believe in one. If you don't, that's fine also. Be it God, Buddha, Allah, whatever. So connect with a higher power. There's something, my personal feeling is there's something out here greater than me. There's something out here, there's a force that's greater than me. And so if you recognize that, that's fine. Connect with that. If you don't, that's fine too. And number 4, be unapologetically you. All right. You're the happiest when you're being you. All right. I'm unapologetically black. I don't go around shouting it because people can see it. But I'm going to be me, and I'm going to live the way I see fit. Treat people the way I want to be treated. Try to do good things, be a positive role model for my kids, my family, my neighborhood, and whoever. So these are the 4 steps to do for self. And once you can do that and you have yourself together, now you can take that, you can teach others, help others, do for themselves. Now you're financially independent. You may want to invest in the brother down the street or sister that has a hair salon or barbershop or whatever. And that's what it's all about, doing for self and not depending on anybody or any other ethnicity or whatever to help us. Because here's the truth. If you're on top, yeah, there's good people in all races and ethnicities. Now, don't get me wrong. Good black folk, good white folk, Asian, whatever, Latino, there's good and bad people in every ethnicity. But the system is set up where white folks benefit because they set the system up. So once again, don't expect them to want to give up power. It ain't happening. They're not going to want to give it up without a fight. My thing is, I don't care. You can go ahead and have your power. I'm going to build my own power. I'm going to do for myself. So that's what today's show is about, guys. And it's more of a, it's 4 steps, but it's really a concept that I think we really need to embrace as we move forward, especially ourselves, and your children. Hopefully the next generation and the next generation will continue to learn to do for self, because it's a mother, man, when you can't do for self. And like I said, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I remember one of the times that led me to actually start entrepreneurship was, and I mentioned this on the show, I was working, I had stopped my first business, and I had some BS sales job that I was working with the Better Business Bureau. And I had been there like 3 to 4 weeks. Everybody was getting checks. And my sales manager walks right by me. I don't get a check. I was supposed to get a check that week. And she was like, well, I don't know what you did. What do you mean you don't know what I did? I'm running up and down the road, burning up this gas, going on meetings. And she was like, well, I guess you can get a check. I was like, you know what? You can keep your check. Man, I rolled up out of there and that was it. It was a wrap. You're not going to make me beg for work that I did. All right. It don't work like that with me. I'm not going to beg you for anything. And from that point on, I'm like, you know what? I got to get mine. I got to do for myself. I'm not going to be sitting here waiting on somebody to give me a check and they over there playing with my money. That's one thing you never do. You don't play with anybody's money. And that's basically what she was doing. I told her, I said, you can keep that check. And from that point on, that was the not needed, but that was the rocket fuel, if you want to call it, for me to say to hell with this. I got to get mine. Number 1, I don't like to ask people for nothing anyway. And number 2, I don't like people telling me what to do. I'm not a great employee. I did my job well. Wherever I worked, I gave it 100%. But my mindset is not that of an employee. I like to run things. I like to be in control of my own destiny. And like I always say, you got to bet on yourself. So that's today's show, guys. 4 steps to do for self and unlearn systematic social engineering. I'm going to close with this. Make sure that you watch what you're consuming. Make sure you watch what you're consuming, because that's going to determine your thought pattern and your thought process. Garbage in is garbage out. So when you take the time to relax or whatever, and you read or whatever you're doing, watching something, watch stuff that's positive and that's going to help you grow. Because if you don't and you keep watching garbage, then you're not going to grow. And if you're not growing, that means you're going backwards. Before we close out, guys, please continue to spread the word about Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the podcast, obviously, and the blog. Once again, I say it every week. We get more and more downloads. So please continue to spread that love and let people know that we're here. Also, if you need to connect with me via email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES, Facebook, BEB, or Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, jjones001, Instagram, jjones4real, the number 4, REAL. YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. I have different content on my YouTube channel. I'm about to come out with a series of videos within the next couple of weeks. And also, if you want to be included on a BEB text line for notifications and reminders about special events, just text BEB, like Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, to 555-888. BEB to 555-888. And if you're interested in saving $100 on the new Educated E-commerce course, get there before April 4th. Go to educatedecommerce.com. Once again, guys, I love you, and I'll see you same time next week. Peace.